I hung around the auditories and watched the aspirants come and go, waddling like fat dogs. I listened at the window when they chanted their songs and began to learn the patterns of the words. As I got older, I got bolder. I crept into the old scriptoria when the doddering bastards had dozed off, and I stole books. Bit by bit, I started to piece together the catechisms and the litanies. It didn't make any sense, of course. They were just words. But I memorized a lot of it. It all came naturally. Of course it did. These were words I was born to preach, whether or not I believed them. I did believe later. But back then they were just symbols, like codes on a lock. There was a young man in my settlement, a pious one, who had inked some words of the holy books onto his face and shaven head. Every day before dawn, he would apply more henna, rewriting the sacred glyphs with only the aid of a polished silver bowl for reflection. For this, he was considered something of an inspiration in our fly-blown township. Even my own mother, a fat and lazy slattern if there ever was one, noticed his diligence. "Why can't you be more like him?" she would complain, picking at her fingernails and watching me sitting idly on the porch. "Why can't you be more like Erebus?" Now you see, thoughts like these have a terrible power. I took her words to heart. I pondered them, and I thought to myself, why can't I be more like Erebus? I was thinking the same thing as I garroted that young man. I might have even said the words out loud as I twisted the string and watched his eyes bulge and pop. That was the first time I killed a living soul. And gods, was it sweet. My heart was pumping and my face was glowing. The more his life ebbed away, the more I felt my own burgeoning. By the time I let his body drop into the alleyway, I was positively singing inside. The sensation didn't last long. There was all the tedious business of disposing of the body, then rooting through his belongings to get what I needed, then turning my back on my birthplace and setting off into the great dust. I couldn't stay in a place where he and I were both known. I never once regretted it. I walked out under the southern gate with the stars rising and the heat of the day ebbing, wearing a dead man's robes and with a dead man's script inked neatly on my own shaven head. Ah, there you go. There is the irony, the marks on my flesh, the ones that mark me out as me, were never really mine. I wore them after that to ensure my stolen name and persona were never questioned. In time, I half forgot their origins, and I began to care more about what I was writing. By the time I reached for the tattooist's needle, the words had changed, and the act was more than one of disguise. Originally, though, it was all just lies. So what was my original name? Just like the name of the place where I was born, that genuinely doesn't matter. I have become like a demon, nurturing a secret moniker that only the Empyrean echoes. I certainly will not tell you. Some things even the gods don't know.